Battlefield of Eternity! We got our first round match, another best of one. And well, boys, we got Disgusting going up against Oxygen Esports. And today we're going to follow Oxygen a bit. This is the first tournament that they're participating in here in the qualifiers. We have qualifier number 5. And again, this entire tournament series is set up so that teams can pick and choose which qualifiers they will attend and which they don't. The principle is still the same. The farther you go in the tournament, the more points you get for the ranking. At the end of the 10 qualifiers, the top 8 teams in the ranking advance to the playoffs, and then it's 4 days of playoff action with a lot of best of 5s, but the qualifiers are intentionally a little bit smaller, best of 1s in the early rounds, and we're heading into best of 3s. So Disgusting going up against Oxygen. They gotta see if they can take them down here. For Oxygen, since they have not participated in any qualifier yet, it's quite important that they make it as far as possible. Ideally win the entire thing here, of course. Depends a bit on how many more they plan on attending. We have against them Sergeant Hammerband out. Yeah, they started all of this again. Lucio here for Bronek on the side of Disgusting here with Battlefield of Eternity. And Atrax with an early Greymane pick. Now Hanzo is still up. Sylvanas has been banned, but we also have Vala. So you could go into an arrow build Vala if you really wanted to. And of course with Hanzo you have another hero that is really, really good if you want to dish out a bit of immortal damage. And there we got him. Hanzo is in the house. Honor. Yep. Has weird legs, by the way. I know you can't see the model right now, but like some of those things are a little bit weird. Anyways, Mirrodin is in the house as well, so Bad Benny is going to go in with the Stormbolt lead, and Blaze can follow up on it with the jet propulsion. But when it comes to bans, what else do you get rid of? There's obviously the X Factor Nick on the other side here for the Hardos, aka Oxygen. Might still be some people that are looking at this and like, wait a second, why are the Hardos all of a sudden named differently? It's explained last time. They are now playing under the flag of Team Oxygen. And yeah, could very well be that after things like CCL, Masters Clash and all of that, that they're going back to the Hardos, but for now it's like all under the Oxygen banner. And talking about ban, last one coming out, Stukov has been eliminated, so after you get your CC, you can at least not follow up with the Lurking Arm and a bit more lockdown. And we get Li Ming also eliminated. Li Ming and Greymane was always a combo that worked well. There's a lot of poke there, and oh, seems like that was a very, very good ban on their end, because the blue team is looking to go for a bit of sniping. So with that, we got Lavakal on Varian. And if they would have gotten Li Ming plus Greymane after a good taunt, you can really murder people. Yeah, but we need the final 2 picks for Oxygen Esports, so particularly what Nick is going to be picking is going to be interesting. Yasuo, of course, with the support. And what we're getting is Anduin and Tracer. So you have a little bit of light bomb engage on this one. You can always pull the front line out. And on the other side, it's now Medivh. So that's actually an interesting twist here. With Medivh, you can at least counteract Tracer a little bit. But not really the hero that I expected here. I'm really curious if they're going to have enough damage for this. Is Greymane really going to be able to carry this one? I mean, Kalami is skeptical. Or is Varian not going to go for a taunt? We'll figure it out. Game number 1, Battlefield of Eternity, Disgusting against Oxygen Esports. Game on! First map of the day. It's Battlefield of Eternity, and we have, for now, on the left side, Disgusting with Lavakal on Varian. Richu on Leoric, Alvarez on Medivh, Bronek on Lucio, and Atrax is playing Greymane. On the right side of the map, we got Yazu for Team Oxygen. First time that they're participating in the X-Cup Summer Qualifiers now. We have him with Anduin, Hazu on Hanzo, Bad Benny on Merlin, Nick on Tracer, and we got Kopen on Blaze. So, let's get this show on the road. I'm actually pretty interested to see how exactly Varian is going to pan out with that particular composition here. Because Medivh in this lineup is still a little bit of a strange one to me. So I want to see what they can pull off with this. Definitely they can counteract Tracer and her bombs a bit with a shield. But besides that, what is Medivh really going to bring for them? Are they just going to attempt to get Varian a bit closer to the action and maybe towards the backline? If that's going to be successful or not is something that we'll definitely find out. But at this point is just a traditional 1-4 split that we got between the lanes. Oh, there's the next engage as they are going in for Nick, but so far Varian doesn't have taunt, so very little that he can actually do here. Benny with a bottle ship. Good mount. That's a pretty good mount. Murden himself here, of course. I mean, first of all, I don't like the skin at all, but then that particular skin and tint, like, why the hell Bad Benny? I mean, at that point you might just rename yourself into Bad Taste Benny or something, because it is spot on. Like, what the hell is this? Already we're going to look at the ugly dwarf, and then he's even green. It's like, ugh, looks like somebody just vomited onto the screen or something. So yeah, that is definitely not a good one. But they take the camp. Top side with Greyman rotating up to help out Leoric. There's also a camp taken by the blue team, so each team walks away with one of the mercenary camps, as they're now moving down to the bottom of the map with a bit more aggression towards those walls. Bomb connects too. Medivh is at 11 stacks right now, so he's getting there slowly. It's already not too bad for the early game. Needs, of course, plenty more, but as long as he stays safe, he should be able to just stack comfortably in the 4-man. And around the first objective, he has to be a bit more careful around this. But, alright. Now, either way, up towards the top, we have still our 1v1 between Richu and Kopen. And, of course, Tracer is now starting to pay a little bit of a visit towards the top lane in an attempt to damage good old Leoric and see if they can force him to tap the fountain and maybe even get a kill here. The latter a bit less likely. It's indeed taunt, by the way, so I would have been surprised to see anything else, but as I explained a bit earlier, I'm really just wondering what exactly Medivh with this particular composition is going to bring to the table. If they're just hoping to help Varian engage into the backline and then the rest of the team follows up and they get the very quick kill onto the target, or what the play is going to be here. I mean, either way, we haven't seen a kill yet in the game, but we are going to see the first Immortals touch ground, and that's what we're getting right now. So, time to party things up here, as Benny is getting saved, yeah. Yasuo with a heavy pull. Do you think it's actually more exhausting for... I honestly feel that at some point... Oh, nice. Stun into a stun, but the shield is there. Can they get more damage on Lavaka? Not enough to really make this a problem. But there's the taunt, and Benny gets out. Oh, yep, that 16 stacks gone. Medivh is dead, and all the stacking efforts of the early game have now evaporated as Medivh gets killed by a Blaze. Unfortunate. By the way, again, stun into stun, and the jet propulsion as a follow-up. Like, damn. They're having a rough time breaking through these little choke points here, and Leoric falls too. Okay, so with 2 kills to 0 and the halftime show already won, this is looking very good for Oxygen Esports in the first round here. Yeah, and they're already working on the Immortal again. I still believe it should cost Anduin a little bit more mana when he pulls someone that's really heavy. So that just makes sense to me. I mean, if you're lifting, you know, you're also exerting more energy if you're trying to lift something that's a lot more heavy, and Anduin is just like pulling people over walls and stuff time and time again. And that needs to exert a toll at some point, so I'm not quite sure why exactly this is always the same no matter what you do. But talking about doing things, what Oxygen Esports is not going to do is push the top wall. We got on level 7 the Sleight of Hands right now for Tracer. Level 7 talents also available for Disgusting, and well, here's the push through the top wall with this side wall opened up so that they can technically also try to follow up on any engage made by either Muradin or by Blaze, and they're already looking for that, but Lucio is present and is helping them out. Leo is down at the bottom of the map, very much so alone, trying to get some experience and structural damage in, but that also results in a 5 versus 4 situation topside, not even including the Immortal, so it's an easy drop on the fort in favor of Oxygen Esports, whereas Leo is still taking out the trash on lane, hoping to get some damage in against the fort itself. But yeah, Medivh also 6 stacks for him, not really a whole lot, but things are pretty all right now for the red team. It's the first time that they're participating in the qualifier, so a lot of this has a lot hinging on them. And they really have to make some big plays here. Also, they got a bit lucky, but them not participating in any of the other qualifiers also means that on the seeding side, they could have technically ended up going off against Bang Bush or Chili Mountain in the first round. That would have been an interesting first round pairing. That's something that we're most likely going to see later today, unless, of course, teams like Disgusting and others are able to cause a bit of an upset here. There's the taunt. They're trying to follow up with damage, but they can't. Play is also not the best target for this. And while they're all brawling out through the bot lane, Tracer is up at the top. Nick playing a completely different style right now. It's side lane Tracer that we're getting from him. So Nick has 11,000 damage, which isn't too shabby, but does of course not measure up against anybody else, and is now finally also able to like pad these stats a bit against Leoric, but has been side laning quite a lot in an attempt to get some damage done here towards the walls. Level 10 also kicking in, so yep, with that we're gonna get heroics now. There's also the meme strike, light bomb, and goodbye. Actually a pretty well executed combo, all things considered. So first we had the light bomb execution on Muradin, who was able to stun out Varian again, and then thanks to Hanzo they got the kill here. Yeah, 3 kills to 0 now, and another immortal popping up, which allows, amongst others, Hazu to immediately be in position with Hanzo, so he can start chunking that down. So it's bit of an attempt to go through the top lane and maybe get something done here, but that didn't really happen. So, yeah. But, well, there's the next play up in the middle. And let's see. Not quite. Alrighty. 3 kills to 0. Camps haven't been taken yet. But they're making the play for the camps right now. So, yeah, good for them. Especially since they're the only ones. So as long as they get this, they have pressure on the lane. It's a top lane too. So it's a keep that is getting pressured. But they also have to come back down here and try and defend this, or it could become problematic. The blue team is trying to catch up. But again, Varian getting stunned into the immortal stun. A light bomb follow-up. Hanzo! Yeah, don't walk with the arrow. Walk against it if you have the shield already on. But Itras is also about to fall if they can't... Ah, nice. That's actually not too bad. So they actually zone out Tracer with that Entomb, even though he doesn't technically catch her. Maybe they could have even applied pressure, but at least they saved the backline as Tracer was trying to slide in and flank them a bit. Still not a single kill for Disgusting though. And now that they are about to lose another Immortal, they also have to deal with the top lane, where the gate has fallen, and so did the tower. But off we go. Yeah, that camp might be a goner. Is Oxygen Esports willing to commit to this? And the answer is no. Not with the Immortal up. They know that they would rather go down to the bot lane and take that fort out. But it's still a great position. They're looking at an Immortal push at the bot lane. They have a half-level lead. Muradin with a jump and the bolt just doesn't hit Alvarez, so couldn't set the kill up for them. But also, there's another fort that is just gone. 10 minutes in, both of the forts are 100% gone. And if there's a few more kills for Oxygen Esports, and they could maybe even go for the keep itself, or at least take the wall down. And that's 1 kill, and that's a double. 2 kills, everybody, as they take 2 of the heroes down, which opens up more pressure at the bottom of the map. Nicely done, and also good coordination with the meme strike that they're executing here. And, well, they take Greybane too, so I guess that's a keep. Yeah, keep is likely to fall. Quick look, by the way, at how this happened. So here, check it out, have a good look at the stun and then the follow-up from Hanzo. So they got both of them in there and dropped them quickly, which now allowed them to take the keep, as you can see. Level 13 is also available. And we're only 10 minutes in. 10 minutes in, 2 forts down, a keep destroyed, 6 kills to 1. Tracer got demolished by Leo, as it turns out. So the mob to the face ended her. Okay, so at least that. And yeah, outside of our boy Medivh having 29 stacks now, things are not really looking too great for the blue team. They definitely need to start getting a bit of momentum. Now, they are working on it. They're trying first and foremost to get level 13 so that they can fight with even talents against the red team. But yeah, there's that. Damage output by now. We got 21,000 for Greymane, 37,000 for Hanzo, 32,000 for Tracer. And the fight continues. Still a mercenary camp up at the top. So here's level 13, and Richu is already starting to move back towards the top lane. Probably going to be slowed down a little bit, or at least could be slowed down slightly by Blaze. Nah, seems like they're all fine. Or is he actually going into the fight? And the top lane could even be more of a problem. Oh, Medivh! No! He lost the stacks again, and now Lucio is dead too. Yeah, Lavakal is also dead, and boy, oh boy, this isn't looking good. Merlin gets murdered as they are killing Greymane, but it's a 5-man team wipe as they take the entire team down. Oxygen Esports, in their first game in the X Cup Summer, is having a very good time and is now slowly moving towards the top lane. Could try and get some keep damage in, but the Immortal is spawning and they're realizing that they're going to be a bit too late to the party, so instead they are taking the halftime show advantage over the blue team. And that should also give them level 16, which is pretty big. So, yeah. On the right side, there's the camp. It's up again with all that added pressure towards the top. If they take it right now, that would of course also be fantastic. Alvarez, he watches it, but there's not really all that they can do. I mean, they're splitting away from the point just in case that there is a ley line. And that might still happen. Yep, there's the ley line, and they steal the camp. Nice! Good old ley line steal. But the top keep is taking severe damage from that camp that was taken earlier. At least the Shaman camp is not going to be a problem for them, so they know that. Everybody else is low, though. And Nick was for a second trying to chase them down and get the kill, but instead they're now turning towards Medivh and punish him for the camp steal. Nice, 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 nice. And they might get a bit more than that. Initially it looked like it's only going to be Medivh that dies, but now everybody else is also so low that they're having a hard time getting out of the battle. Especially Varian, of course. Varian is dead. Varian is down. Yeah, he saw his son on the other side and he died of embarrassment and is like, oh god, what did I do? Should have used protection. But, well, we got level 16. Anduin is still fine. Went into the Glyph of Faith over here. And the rest of the team is helping now. Tracer out at the top. Or are they? Well, maybe not. They should, though. Take that keep. Get it. But with the Immortal coming up, I mean, again, it's looking like it's a very clean play here. Another engage by the Light Bomb. And that is the end of Greymane. Medivh dies again. Tracer's trying to get back out. But it's just kill after kill after kill. The keep gone, the Immortal on the way. Nearly 100% shield on this one. And this is, of course, going to be the first victory for Oxygen Esports in this 5th qualifier of the X Cup Summer. The first qualifier that they participate in with the system. Catapults on the core, so is the Immortal. And that, ladies, is game. With that, we're heading towards the next round. We're going to follow Oxygen Esport a little bit further here today as they take the victory on Battlefield of Eternity against Disgusting.
Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV.
Towers of Doom, Oxygen Esports is in the next round. Still a best of one. This is the final best of one round before we are moving into the best of threes of the semi-final. And again, I know 100% that there's a few people out there that are looking at this like, wait a second. Best of ones? What kind of shit is this? Well, very quickly explained. These are all qualifiers for the X Cup Summer. The playoffs are going to be best of 5s, double elimination, and all those good things. But all of the qualifiers are pretty much designed to be, you know, like short and snappy. And that's exactly what we have here. So in the early rounds, you have best of 1s, and then once that we're moving into the semifinals and the grand final, it's best of 3s. But yes, there we go. Okay, we got Stitches banned on Towers of Doom. Copium is going up against Oxygen Esports now. And as highlighted a little bit earlier, Oxygen Esports is participating for the first time in the qualifiers. Now, keep in mind, it's not like you win a qualifier and then you all of a sudden qualified for the playoffs. No. every single time you participate in a qualifier, depending on how far we make it into the tournament, you gain a few points, they're all added up, and then if at the end of all the qualifiers, at the end of the season, you are in the top 8, you move on to the playoffs, sorry, where you play for 4,000 euros of prize money. Sponsored by Mr. X, an anonymous Heroes of the Storm fan, without whom all of this would not be possible. So big shout out once again to Mr. X. Thanks a lot for supporting the Heroes of the Storm scene here. Very much appreciated. And this is the 4th season now. So yeah, big Heroes of the Storm fan, and a lot of awesome content that we got because of him. So, as we're heading into another one, this time Hammer wasn't banned out and Sergeant is taken. Mirrodin Blaze and Sergeant Hammer on Towers of Doom. Yeah, it's games like these that make teams ban Sergeant Hammer against Oxygen Esports. So, yes, exactly, here it is. And how is the blue team going to react to this? And what did they ban? They can still ban Nick out, but I would assume that Hazu is swapping Hammer over to... Actually, this is maybe a correct assumption. Both of them can obviously play Sergeant Hammer. Both of them already played her in the past. And Nick could very well just go for a completely different pick here and try and go for a melee assassin for even more aggression. So, yeah. And with that, we got... Anduin banned out. No safety net. We can pull that out. But yeah, there it is. The ban on Jojo. So they're banning the front line out a little bit. Marlow needs to make his choice there. But yeah, at this point it's pretty much how do we get to Sergeant Hammer? What do we do about the Sergeant? How do we play against this? And I'm kind of curious too. Because you already know what the game is going to be. You gotta ask yourself, how do we deal with that? And with Stitches banned out, that's one of the tools already eliminated. So they go for Garrosh. And they got Rega. Okay. Yeah, this leaves us with the last one. And the last 2 picks, everybody, for Team Oxygen. In their attempt to go to, well, the grand final, maybe even win the entire thing. So that they can lock in more and more points that would guarantee them to be in the top 8 at the end of all of the qualifiers here. But yeah, we get first for... Ooh, Ana Genji. Alright. So, Ana, and with Genji we have not only double Overwatch, but we also have the potential to now boost the shit out of our little ninja over here. Okay. And the final pick is Marlow. And for the blue team, I mean, honestly, I don't envy them at all. If you go up against Sergeant Hammer, it's just such a pain in the ass to have to play around this the entire time. Do you counter push? Do you just try to take the hammer down? Whatever it is, they need to come up with some kind of approach. They go for Tracer, so they fight Overwatch with Overwatch here. 2 on each side, and with that, we're headed straight for the first game in this particular series. Also, the only one, still best of 1. We got Copium against Team Oxygen. Copium against Oxygen. Casper on the Haka. Marlow on Tracer. Nano is playing Hanzo. And we got Guilty Spark on Rega. Anyone on Garrosh. And on the right side of the map, Hazorps on Sergeant Hammer. Yasu on Ana. Bad Benny on Murden. 19 Copen. He's playing Blaze. And Nick is playing Genji. Okay. Yeah, Nick on his little snowflake here. At least this time it's not yellow. Again, never eat yellow snow, everybody. Would definitely not recommend. Not speaking from personal experience here, but think it through, think it through. Now, we have with Sergeant Hammer, this time it's actually Hazu that is on hammer duty. And the blue team will eventually have to deal with this somehow. So right now things are not really that crucial since the mobility just isn't there for the Sergeant. Once that level 7 is available, that's when the real pain starts. Even before that, it can be a little bit annoying, but yeah, so either way. Now, up in the middle, I mean, everybody's just like dodging around a bit. There's nothing crazy happening. Top side, we have our 1 versus 1 between Blaze and Dehaka. It's going to be the established rotation between the mid and the bot lane. Mostly, and then once that we have the pumpkins in play, you could technically see one of the teams trying to be a bit more aggressive and making a move, but for now at least that isn't really happening. So here we go. It's hammer time at the bot lane, and the pumpkins are ready. So Hazu's already making his way over, and then it's going to be up to Bad Benny to sit in the bush a bit and anchor that play. Make sure that nobody is moving in for it, but yeah, Nick is here anyways. Blaze has already moved into the middle, so even if there was an aggressive approach by Copium to take the camp, Blaze could have moved in. But now they have an opportunity, because the Haka is still at the top, and of course he has the global, but they could try and force his hand here already. So they are attempting to invade this, and they're doing as best they can with the range that Hazu gives them here. Tracer also attempting to come in from the top, and the Haka is here now. So not losing out anything up at the top. Yeah, they might actually be able to get this one. And of course, Tracer doesn't really like Sergeant Hammer in the first place, but look at the Haka. He's already in trouble. Nice jet propulsion. Guilty Spark in trouble, gets thrown back out, and they steal the camp. So now both of the pumpkin camps have been locked in by Oxygen Esports. Nice. Pumpkins rushing into the wall, taking some of those towers down already. And things are, at least in the early stages, looking fairly decent for Oxygen Esports as they now grab the level 4 talent that gives us the regenerative Biosteel. And up at the top, yeah, we got Blaze on the pleb horse rushing around here. Which also, by the way, doesn't seem alright. Honestly, if you're like a horse and then all of a sudden you have Blaze jumping on you with his armor and everything. I mean, the poor horse. For fuck's sake. I mean, I'm gonna call Peter or something. Like, get that battle beast or whatever into play. If it's the money pick, it doesn't matter. Because it's not real, you know? So, the money pick is also awesome because it's strong enough to carry anyone. But if you're a horse, just like a normal horse, I mean, come on. How do you carry Blaze? That guy is already a couple of kilos too many. And then that heavy armor is just like, whew. That's a backbreaker and a half. I was like, I see that and I'm totally not cool with that. Okay, so. Uh-oh. Yeah, he's dead, isn't he? Anyone? Can they somehow save him? Ooh, that would be wild. Like, he was completely isolated and Bad Benny is still on him. But he's still alive and now the dwarf has to jump out. But Nick is moving into the back line, trying to cut them off here. It's an altar for an altar thus far, as usual. And it's all about the last one down here at the bottom of the map. Slightly inexperienced, not that it should matter for this fight. But, well, if they delay it further, it just might. It just might. So, now we got Casper. Hoping to get a quick drag here. Yeah, that's not happening. He didn't even go for it because he realized that's wishful thinking. So now Yasu dodging out here quite quickly. Still Stormbolt is hitting. And that's a channel. So that's 2 altars for Oxygen Esports. Copium is already falling a bit behind here. We got a full grenade build for Ana. And with that, we also have the hover siege mode. That is when the real pain begins. Yeah, that is always the moment when you're having hover siege mode on the other side where it's just like, why me? This is where it gets really annoying. Fighting against Sunshine Hammer in such a situation is eventually going to be just a pain in the butt. That's what they gotta deal with right now. But yeah, this is gonna slowly and steadily siege over into positions like this one, where you're just either gonna give up your camp or you have to engage into the sergeant slowly. And he's just going to drop you quickly. Especially Tracer's not going to like this at all if she's the one that is getting focused. But for now it's Rhaegar. And he's trying to make it out. Might still be able to. It's thanks to Garrosh, but he apparently is going to pay for it. Maybe not. They save him. Not bad. Kudos. Well done. Not only did they save Rhaegar, but also they got Garrosh out. But then again, you have 6 pumpkins that make it straight into the bell tower. And that is very, very quickly the end of bell tower number 1. So yeah, that didn't work too well for them. Bell tower gets completely taken apart here. Nicely played. And well, we have now 0 kills, by the way. 5 minutes in, we haven't seen a single kill in this game yet, but the bell tower has been converted. And it's the trade in altars up at the top that we can now usually expect, unless Oxygen feels feisty and thinks that they can take 2. Or we're going to see the same play made by Team Copium. I don't really think that that's going to be a thing. Guys, you are up against an opponent nearly as level 20. You should be very careful how long you linger. Instead, try and take this one. Now that they have heroic abilities, there's a very good chance that Oxygen is going to take both of them. The first one is already channeled through. That's 5 points off the blue team's core. Here comes Anna with a pew pew pew, and that's a dead Blaze. But Hanzo is dead as well, and the party still continues. No level 10 ability for the blue team, so they might have to give up the additional altar. And maybe even more than that. Sergeant Hammer is already channeling, and this one is a winner. So, 5 more shots are fired. Anyone low? Goodbye Garrosh, and they might be able to even get a top bell tower. And as I say, the caster curse strikes hard, and it's the end of Muradin. The dwarf is gone, everybody. Yeah, no more dwarf in this one. Level 7, locked and loaded. And here come finally heroic abilities for Team Copium. Yeah, I mean, they coped well until now, but they at least got 2 kills back. But it's of course the structures that are an issue. And the points on the core are not really too flattering either, so gotta deal with it somehow here. How will they, though? So, pumpkins taken again. They're even trying to go at the top side for a kill, but Copen is getting out. The pumpkins have been claimed by Sergeant Hammer. And so far, Copium hasn't really been able to get any of the momentum back that they are hoping for here. It's 2 kills to 2, that's true, but they're nearly a level behind. They don't have any big control over any of these bell towers. Tracer's struggling in the mid lane. Hauser's already gone into Napalm as his level 10 abilities. That means more push power by him. Maybe not quite the same oomph that he could have with the BFG in a big team fight, but can of course easily apply pressure and also push these lanes back. And the structures, which is exactly what they're attempting to do here. The reclaiming of the bot lane has started, and Copium is getting closer and closer to retake the spell tower. But it seems like it's going to be a trade. As they claim the bot lane, the mid lane gets converted. Now, technically that's now better for the blue team because the bot lane is just more important. But it's still a big setback to not have a 4 versus 4 control, as the next objective is soon going to be announced. Oh, well, it's already on the map, actually. So that's another one that they could be claiming here. And let's not forget that at the top, the bell tower is also already a bit low. Yeah, but here's level 13. The channel has happened. That's an additional 5 shots fired. And they're down to 17 points. Dehaka getting saved. Nice. Sweet Ancestral. Yep. How are they getting out of this one? Trying to reclaim at least that mid lane is already a good step, but not sure if they can really make it work here. The level 13 talent advantage is still looming over them. 27,000 damage by Genji. His brother Hanzo with the 31,000. And it's again, ring around the rosy play. They go to the bot lane, the opponent goes into the mid lane. Reclaim the mid lane bell tower, lose the one at the bottom of the map. So they are just playing a bit of a ping pong match, and every single serve is getting returned quickly. But yep, there it is. So once again, they just exchanged forts, nothing else. And this time it was a disadvantageous exchange here too, because as mentioned, the bot lane is a little bit more important. It's just a rotational play. And in the at the top, we have Copium now trying to go also for a boss. That might even work out for them. I honestly think it will, because the rotation is coming, but it's a little bit too slow. And the altar has already been announced. Even if they spot this, it's not going to be of any consequence. So nice, neat little move that we're seeing from Copium here. It still leaves the opponent in a better position regarding amount of bell towers. And of course also pumpkins. But you take 4 points off their core. And you also remove it as an option for later in the game. Tracer already getting attacked a little bit. Yasuo still totally fine. Dehaka with the side lane pressure is now moving very quickly down into the fight. Gets the sleep dart straight between the eyes. Nice! And here's the 5 versus 5 battle. Still even talents for the two teams. Even levels are identical. Another flip, another stun. Completing the quest 2. Always trying to see if they can maybe get a kill somehow. But now Dehaka is low. And even with the drag, can they get the kill? X-Strike! And Dehaka falls. So does Rhaegar. That's 2 down. Hanzo barely survives, and as I said, Muradin jumps over and cuts him off with Hazops moving in on Sergeant Hammer. So it's another kill. 12 points on the core as the altar was also channeled, and one of the pumpkins at least is going to make it through. Sleep Dart is guaranteeing that, and they even get the kill on Garrosh. Nice. Very, very well done. So, that was a good one. Marlow up at the top. We now got level 16 against a level 14. 6 kills to 2. They're moving straight into the middle again. I mean, again, the world's their oyster at this point. As long as they maintain this 5 versus 3 situation, it's always fine. They can always rotate against. So every time that you see Copia make a move to reclaim one of the bell towers, with how low those remaining bell towers are, Oxygen can either try to defend, or they can just simply exchange bell towers over and over and over again. For them, it's perfectly fine. They're in a pretty sweet position here, because as long as they maintain that 5 versus 3 spot, they are great. If they then win team fights like here, taking down Hanzo, dropping Rhaegar, then they can even build on it by claiming an additional bell tower. So yes, this little gap between the two teams is just being extended. Even small kills like this one against Meridian don't really help too much, because it always comes at a price. It's a 3-for-1 trade right now. And yeah, that's pretty dicey. So here it is. They take another bell tower. Immediately the attempt to at least stop the pumpkins down here. Obviously, with only 2 heroes on the map, there's very little that you can do. You can't defend in the top anymore. You have to, if anything, be careful that they don't flank you. But it's a triple altar that's about to be taken, so this looks pretty much like lights out. 1 interrupt is there, but 6 shots have been fired. Ana is now trying to get the channel at the bottom of the map. Sleep Dart is in. Yeah, and up at the top they're also fighting this one out. It's a 5 versus 4 and 16 talents available for both teams. If one more altar goes over to Oxygen Esports, they win the game. So they're all over the place right now. The battle down at the bottom of the map is also still continuing, and that's just the end of Tracer, and it should be the end of the game, especially with Ana. What exactly is Casper going to do against her? Can't do anything. There's the spray game, the Haka gets killed, and the channel is happening. This is game, everybody. A convincing victory by Oxygen Esports as they take down their second opponent in this qualifier, Team Copium, on Towers of Doom, and move on to the semi-final.